If you're watching this, most likely we are about to record an episode of the Data Project. So what are we trying to do here? I'm basically trying to give you a bit of context around how the studio works. This remote recording thing, what to be expecting really the day that we record. The idea is, what can we do to make the video and the audio look and sound as if it was recorded in a studio like this. Now, obviously, we're home. I'm home. This is my studio. You're home too, so there's no the same degree of control as in a professional studio, but there are a few tricks that can approximate the ideal. So how does it work? Well, first of all is the software that we use to record, which I call the studio. And I've tried all different ones. We're going to look at Riverside.fm. That's what we're going to be using. And then the sound and the video. How do you sound good and how do you look good? Well, sound, we'll see immediately, it can be decomposed into the microphone, the headphones and the environment. And for video, it's all about the lens and the light. So the studio is, I'll actually show it to you directly when you go in a new tab and you click the link that I will send you by email. You will see something like this where you can put your name. It's going to show guest instead of host here. I'm using headphones. You have an option here to change your inputs and outputs. You might need to grant permissions if it's the first time they use Chrome in this way. Join studio and we'll see each other right here. Nothing has been recorded yet. We're just in the so-called green room. I have the possibility to change the level of my audio and your audio as well, which is useful. And when we're ready, we can hit the start recording button. The software will start loading and then it will start recording. There's a countdown. We have an option to record, to share the screen, and I show you straight away. So it says recording here. So share the screen there, select the screen and share. And now I can show, my slides and show and present a paper or something. When I'm done sharing the screen, I can just re-click the button and that's over. We'll go through this basically for the entire duration of the recording, and at some point we'll decide that that's enough. I'll stop the recording. We can still talk here. There's a chat on the right hand side as well, and we can message each other. We can send links, so we don't really need to keep emails open. Once we are in Riverside, we're done. Up here it says now your recording has been uploaded. You can close the browser. That's a critical part. At the end of the recording, don't close your browser straight away, because Riverside will finish or complete the uploading of the high resolution video and audio to the cloud so that I can then download it easily and start the editing process for the episode. Riverside uses Google Chrome. So audio and video are recorded locally and uploaded to the cloud and kept in sync via the platform. So it's really important you have Google Chrome, and that your version of Chrome is the latest, it's up to date. Also, what I found from experience is that restarting your laptop right before recording is a great way to minimize problems. And so just restart it. And when it does restart, if you have any default apps that are run at startup time, kill them if you don't need them. Ideally, you only have email open and Chrome until we find each other in Riverside, and then once we're there, you can close your emails too. That will prevent also notifications from appearing. So if you're sharing slides, you don't want the email address of maybe a personal or sensitive contact appearing on screen. If it does happen, then we'll have to do some post editing. It just makes everything harder. So it's best to just focus on what we're doing, which is the conversation. In terms of sound, there's two elements, as I was mentioning: the microphone and the environment. You can control both, luckily. So this is a scale of increasing awesomeness, whatever that means. So we start from the cheap Apple earplugs on the left-hand side, which are... By the way, I'm not using this to record. I have a professional microphone, and I'll show you in a second. These headphones are just for me as a feedback channel, so that I can hear someone else if I was actually having a conversation, or in this case, I can hear myself. I can hear what the microphone is hearing, which is really useful. But that's a different story. So in terms of awesomeness, you go from standard like this, and I recommend whatever you do to go wire. Second in the scale is a classic headset. It's got everything built in. They don't sound particularly well. You're not gonna get this level of sound, but they're a cheap and easy solution. So if you have already one of those, go ahead. If you want to go a step ahead, there's the Rode lavalier mic. I'll send you links, or I'll put it in the description here. But this is roughly a $60 a microphone, and it's very small. It looks like this actually. I have one here, and it's really sensitive. So it's not gonna give you the same full body sound as condenser microphones, the Blue Yeti all the way there to the right, but they're really good options. They're super lightweight. I can chuck it in my backpack, and I always carry it with me because I never know when there's a chance to record an episode or be in a conference room, to be honest. One step above that is this. This is the Rode Video Micro. It's around $80, I think, 80 or $90. The tripod doesn't come with it, so you'll have to buy that as well if you want to have it on the desk. Again, it's super lightweight. I mean, it's very low profile as well. It's impossible to break pretty much. So I chuck this one in my backpack too if I need a second microphone real quick. And it sounds incredibly well, to be honest, for the price range. Again, it's not gonna give you the same sensitivity of a condenser mic, but it's an excellent option for that budget. And then obviously condenser microphones, professional studio quality audio. They range between $150 and $220. What you can do is with all of this is separate the input from the output. So this is the one on the right hand side there in the slide. Is this? It's a splitter. It simply takes the conventional 3.5 millimeter jack and that has 4 contacts and separates that into 2 different channels, the headphones one and the microphone one. And so, for example, if you use the Rode lavalier mic, or if you use the Video Micro, all you do is connect to the microphone to the microphone input, and your Apple standard or whatever, as cheap as you can get them, headphones to the output. So you'll have good quality audio and you'll still be able to hear me on the other side. And obviously the other end of this goes to your laptop. So really, really simple trick. The other element is the room. Obviously we don't have that professional studio, but we do have blankets and soft stuff. And with soft stuff, I mean every time you're surrounded by hard surfaces, so walls and glass, so the typical example is the bathroom, you have a strong reverberation or echo, which means that your sound not only will sound poor quality, but it will actually be harder to understand what you're saying, because the end of one letter, one word will sort of mix with the beginning of the next, because the sound is still circulating in the room, and you don't want that. Very easy way to do it is fill the environment with blankets. Obviously not on you, especially if you're recording video, although it works surprisingly well. If you decide not to do video and would just record audio, take a blanket and literally cover yourself with a blanket and be close to a microphone. You will see an incredible improvement in sound quality just with a blanket. Obviously, if it's summer or 40 degrees, you can't do that, but you know what I mean. In terms of video, another scale of awesomeness, you go from the built-in webcam to an external decent webcam. And I found the Logitech C920 to work really, really well. It's a full HD, and it just works with Windows, Microsoft, and Windows and Apple, so you don't have to worry about it. It's around $100, and I think that anything, if you want to spend more, you'll have to spend a lot more. So the other two are the Sony Alpha, which is a more than $1,000 machine. It's an excellent, obviously, camera, but it's pretty expensive. Or you can go crazy and use a fully DSLR camera like that Canon there. In terms of light, so that's the camera again, and then the environment. The environment of a video is the lighting. I recommend to go and try for as far as it's possible to get soft light. And the way you do it is with a big light source. Now you might ask, where do I get a big light source? Well, a cheap and easy way is to move your desk close to a white wall and turn every other light off and point a bright light against the wall. So in that example here, what's happening is that the light is bounces off the wall and comes back at you as if it was actually emitted by a large surface. Like it is actually reflected, not in this case emitted, but it is coming towards you from a big area, which is the wall. And that's what's going to give you soft light. And it works surprisingly well. If you have two light sources, you might want to bounce both of them on the wall. But I use personally this setup, but a single light can work well, depending on how sensitive is your camera. If you're using, for example, the built-in webcam from your laptop, and you try to do this with a single light, you might have a hard time. But if you're using an external, even the Logitech webcam that I showed you before, it might work because that camera has a much higher sensitivity. I haven't tested though, so you'll have to do your tests. But my setup is this. I use this Viltrox panels LED that are really convenient and lightweight, and they don't cost much. It's like $50 each. You can change the intensity and the color, the temperature of the light, which is really cool. I have a Blue Yeti microphone. It's a condenser mic, and I have a Canon 6D with a Tamron 24/7 lens. If you know your way around optics, the reason why I'm using this is because I've been into photography for 10 years. I had it there in my bag, and before starting the podcast, way before I enjoyed taking videos, and so when this project started, I was like, I can find a way to reuse that lens instead of buying yet another camera. And so I'm using that as a webcam, which is why you see this nice, blurred kind of effect, like the bokeh effect. But you can get excellent results, to be honest, even just with an conventional external webcam. And then I have a lot of this foam here, the sound absorbing foam, which is again super cheap. You don't see it because it's everywhere around me, but my studio is filled with it. And I think that's it. I mean, the message here is we are ready to rock and roll. It shouldn't be complicated. Whatever the microphone or whatever the camera you have, it's going to be one link, Riverside, we get in and we start recording. I guess as a bit of a tip, what I found over the last 6 months, actually more, 9 months, is that the best conversations are spontaneous. So we're not gonna, get crazy around talking points and things to cover. I'll typically do an introduction just to set the tone, but then, we can just relax and roll with it. And I'm sure it's going to be a great episode. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully that helps. And you should have received already a link, or if you haven't, you're going to receive a link to Riverside shortly. And I hope to see you on the other side.